Hello everyone, and welcome to another Top 5 Records video, and a video I've been wanting to make for quite some time because I'm going to talk about Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan. And that album is special to me, not only because it's a very good album, but second because it got me into the world of audiophile quality. About 7 or 8 years ago, a friend of mine gave me this, a first Dutch pressing of Blood on the Tracks. And it's a good sounding pressing. I mean, it's solid sounding. I didn't listen to the album before that because in those days I was still convinced that Bob Dylan did his best work in the 60s and I should not be bothered with his 70s work. I was wrong. Obviously, I was wrong. And I put it on and I was very grateful. It was a beautiful, beautiful present. But I asked my friend who gave it to me. It wasn't my birthday or anything like that. I asked him, "Why are you giving it to me?" He said, "Well, I know you don't want to spare the money for these kind of things," which in those days was the case. "But I fell in love with something new." And then he came up with this one. The Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab of Blood on the Tracks. Which, even on the mediocre, less than mediocre stereo set I had, you could hear the difference. You could hear that there was a more, defined sound. It was a more defined sound. It was even fuller sounding, which, with an audiophile pressing versus an original Dutch, that's not always the case. It was full sounding. It was a good pressing, and although he spent about $80 or $90 on it, and in those days I did not have that money to spend on records. But he started earning money, and he thought, you know what, I'll give it a shot. And when we first heard it, the both of us, without having any experience in pressings, we heard the difference. And I thought, this sounds better. I thought, I'm not going to spend money on very, very, very expensive records, which in the years to follow, I did. But I learned, pressings matter. And this Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab pressing, which, it could be digitally sourced. I mean, the Mofi site says, you can find the kind of information on the Mofi website. I'm sure this is digitally sourced because I'm going to talk about another Mofi version later on, which I know it's digitally sourced, but from the mass tape. Anyway, it's good. Now, I love this one, but then the mystery started to arise. What about them big boxes? What about these beautiful, beautiful gems? The Mobile Fidelity One Step, original master recording of Blood on the Tracks. This was my first one step. So I have also a very special connection to that, emotional connection. And to make the comparison full, last week ago, I finally found this. A near mint first US pressing of Blood on the Tracks with the hype sticker on. And I did the comparison. I compared these two. First of all, these two blow the other ones, the first Dutch one and the Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab normal 33 RPM one. They blow their heads clean off. When you compare this one, this is a 33 RPM to the Mofi. It is much fuller, it is much warmer, and equalizing the mastering, it is much more balanced than the normal Mofi one. I was so impressed by this. This, an original. If you come across one, please buy this one above the Mofi. But now, what's the difference between these two? There is a difference. It is not as big as I imagined it would be. This one is a bit more warmer sounding. I really enjoy the sound of the mid frequencies here. This one, it has a certain definition, and I think it has to do with the 45 RPM. There is so much more room on this one, and because of the higher definition, I feel more drawn to this version. I think this is the superior one. It does not have the same equal amount of warmth this one has, but it's definitely a lot warmer and has a fuller body in the midst than the Mobile Fidelity was. The normal Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab one, the 33 RPM. This one blows the head of the 33 RPM clean off, and it's a beautiful, intimate, clean sounding, beautifully defined pressing. Anyway, if you find any of these two, go ahead. It's a beautiful album. I'm sure you'll love it. I'll be putting on a mix between these two because both have their own identity. This one is my preferred one, but I can imagine on some days I'll choose this one. Now, that's my comparison for Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan. What are your experiences with copies? Please leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.